Call to order the Lowell City Council regular meeting for December 15th at 7:01. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bennett.
Here.
Councilor Harris.
Here.
Councilor Stratus.
Present.
Councilor Drott.
Yeah, move it.
Uh-oh, where is she? Oh, let's, wait a minute. Somehow we lost Sam. There she is. She's coming in.
There she is.
There you are.
I'm back.
Good to see you.
Councilor Myers.
I'm here.
I don't know what happened.
Who knows? Magic.
It's a computer.
That's true. That's true.
Let's stand for the pledge.
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it
And
Public
one nation,
stands,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone.
Hey, I just figured out what the problem is. When people are talking to each other or talking away from the mic, things really get garbled. But if you're right in front and talk directly into the mic, it's very clear.
Good to know.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind. Okay, next up is the approval of the agenda, and what I want to do is I want to change the agenda right off. And what I'd like to do, being I like to hear good news, I'd like to have Bill Trotter present the first new business item, the presentation of the City of Lowell fiscal year 2019-2020 audit. Before we do, you have anything you'd like to start off with, Mo?
Well, I was just going to say that the annual financial report for the year has been completed and is available. You all have a copy. There were no audit findings for 2019-20. Laylee Nichols' work on this report deserves congratulations. So congratulations, Laylee. And Bill Trotter with Emerald CPA is going to present the audit and the report and answer any questions.
Okay, Bill, the floor is yours.
Well, I would say there is indeed good news. I think some of you remember 5 years ago when I first showed up in the office, the city administrator and the bookkeeper that I'd interviewed before I took the job had resigned. The accounting software was absolutely impossible to use rather. It took me something like 5 weeks just to put together the different components so I could have a unified set of numbers to put into my program. And needless to say, the city council was not in a good mood with respect to other members at that time. And so now after 5 years,
Diplomatic.
we're exactly where we want to be. We have a first-rate accounting system. We can get reports in real time that are accurate. And it really is like night and day. Plus, Laylee has put together the basic financials, which is the way it's supposed to be. And usually it's only the big cities that do this, like Eugene, Springfield, Portland. So we really, and thanks to Laylee, not only do we have a set of financial statements that I can really be the auditor for, but the numbers have much greater credibility. So thank you, Laylee.
Well, thank you.
And also we should thank Jared. It's too bad he's not here tonight because, this is actually the culmination of his good work. So he really did a bang-up job for us.
Yep.
So I was looking over, I do different kinds of analytical reviews on the trends of the revenues and expenditures and so on. And since Jared had been city administrator, your revenues have increased by $500,000 a year. So that's quite an accomplishment. And the sewer fund and the water fund are in balance and show positive cash balances. Yes, Sam, you had a question?
I was telling my cat to go away, sorry.
Oh, doggone cat.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's why I'm in my office instead of at home, because my cat would want to be on the screen as well. So anyway, wow, good news. An unmodified report and no findings, which is really quite a change from the first year. I think we had something like 6 material weaknesses, which is the most severe type of finding you can have. And we gradually got all of those cleared up. And so it was clean as far as the opinion and clean as far as the internal control report. So, do you guys have any questions about the audit? It really was a pleasure this year, and note, we finally got it done before the end of the year.
Well, I was gonna say, look what time
Yeah.
of year it is.
It's exciting.
It's very exciting.
Yeah. Well, I would like to add this year, you notice that the audit report does look a little different, and there's a statistical section in the back. That formatting changes, and the statistical section I've added. That's like the first step in trying to prepare for us to be able to create a CAFR, a comprehensive annual financial report. I don't know that, we are going to get there anytime in the very near future, but it's definitely a good start. And I will continue to work to add some of those elements to try and make the report more comprehensive, and being able to, for me, to be able to produce the financial statements that are in the audit report was exciting. And hopefully we can continue the trend, and next year Bill's life will be even easier.
Well, there's always more to do on the audit, and I was kind of holding my breath in the early days because we were just simply grabbing for numbers, and I would verify what I thought was critical. But now I'm able to pretty much go through all of the elements that I'm charged with doing. So that has been very satisfying. And I think the year before I came on, I don't think you got the audit until the following August of the next year. So we've gradually been creeping forward, as the accounting system has improved. So this year we did get it. I think the date on this is in November.
Yep.
So
Super exciting.
Wow, that's very satisfying.
Lately, I did notice the statistic part. It starts on page 44 of the report, and I just found it very interesting. I was glad you put it in there. It's one of these where I was scratching my head, I don't think I've seen this before. So I'm glad to hear you say you added it new. So
yeah, brand new.
Yep. Thank you for that.
Yes.
It's just nice.
It is interesting to kind of see the 10 years history, historical data, it kind of puts into perspective where we once were and where we are now. I think that can be very useful in the future.
Yeah, I agree. Anything from any questions by anybody at all? Bill, do you have anything else to add?
I might say Something I'll look at next year. I know now we have separate funds for each SDC, which is the way it should be done, and we know what amounts are carried forward. I think we might look at what the methodology is for determining those charges, because it's supposed to be, 20 years forward. And I don't know if we've done a comprehensive study for some time. But that's something I'd be interested in looking at next. This is a refinement we couldn't possibly do 5 years ago.
No, I would say that when we, 5 years ago, it was by guess, by gosh, where we should be. Estimates for this, estimates for that. I know that I think last year Jared worked with either League of Oregon Cities, I think League of Oregon Cities, to help with determine the SDC levels and things like that. Some went up, some went down, but it's one of those bugaboos that you're never really sure. You're hoping whenever we divided things, the big pile of money into separate funds for the SDCs, I think that was when we did a whole lot of looking, and Laylee probably knows more about this than I, but we did a whole lot of looking on where they came from, how they got there, and what levels they should be at. So any help that we can get on that would be appreciated.
Yeah. Well, I do know that there was actually quite a good record in just spreadsheets of the various monies that were put into SDCs every year. And I went back before we separated the funds and tied them all to our audits. And we were able to actually pretty cleanly identify which SDCs were which, and that was not an issue. And I know that Jared worked, I want to say he may have worked with the League of Oregon Cities, but I know that he worked with the engineers every year to determine if there should be any changes or adjustments in SDCs that are charged. And I know it gets, I don't know, Max, I don't know if Max knows the name of it, but there's an index out of Seattle, the Seattle area, that's used for pretty much all of the Northwest for those kinds of CPI increases, and any increases that were generated when Jared was here were kind of done under the purview of the engineer with respect to those numbers. Does that sound right, Max?
Yeah, the last couple of years, that's what they
Yeah.
used was Seattle.
Yeah.
So.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. Okay.
And the whole idea of an SDC is that it's supposed to be used for betterments that will benefit the estimate of the population. I think it's 20 years hence. I think that's the horizon. So
Yeah.
that's usually part of an SDC study. So maybe we can do it without too much of a problem.
Yeah, before we used the Seattle, there was a number that we were using out of Portland State, I believe, and then they stopped giving their numbers. Then we went with Seattle, but Seattle isn't Lowell either. So we hoped and guessed that we used the numbers that we had.
Yeah, and I think probably Lowell will see some growth in the next 20 years. I've really been impressed with what I've seen over at the school. I mean, I think there are people actually, students transferring into the school district from outside. The buildings look fantastic. And they're finally paying the full water sewer rates, which we don't go into so far, but we know that is now the case.
Proud for them. Okay, we'll pass on that about the SDC funds to the new city administrator, and he can either be working with you, contact you, or whatever needs to be done to make sure that we're staying on top of it and getting ahead of the game.
Yeah, and I must say, instead of patching holes in the boat now, we're really trimming the sails. I mean, we were working on refinements
Yeah.
instead of the basics. So yeah, and on your way to a new city hall and a great new library and, you know, so on and so on. A lot has happened in the last 5 years. And of course, you know, we already have a great fire district right next door.
Oh, we have a great school district, great fire district, so we're trying to do our best to keep up with some of them.
Well, we're headed in the right direction.
I agree. Anything else?
No, that's all the good news I can come up with.
Tell you what, I like good news. Laylee, anything to add?
No, I don't think so. I'm really glad that we've come this far, and it's a good feeling to have it be done early and in order.
Well, we all appreciate both of you.
Yeah.
We really
Very
do.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're
Yes.
both
Thank
proud
you.
of both of you.
Very much.
Nothing else. We'll let you guys log off if you want to, or if you want to listen to a business meeting, you can, but I would log off.
Well, I know my cat needs feeding.
Yeah,
So, there you go.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm going to leave. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Me too. I'm logging off. Have a good evening.
Bye,
Bye.
Leslie. Thank you.
Okay. Great. That's wonderful. Okay. Let's get my thing to talking again. Okay, next thing up is the consent agenda. Okay, what we have the city executive session for city council meeting on November 17th. Executive session, city council meetings minutes for November 24th, financial reports for October 2020, and check register for 2020.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving of the consent agenda as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed?
Can I
Okay.
clarify who made the second? Because I think we had two people.
John.
Was it
John, I believe.
Okay. Thank you.
We're gonna go with John.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next up is public comments. Would the public like to speak?
Not me.
Okay, the public's gonna hold off for a few minutes. He's still writing down his memos and things like that, so. Anything, Neil? Okay. Okay. That means we're down to the city administrator's report. Ms. Miller, please.
Yes, Mayor Bennett and the council. The city administrator's report covers the period from November 12th to December 10th. The first item is the Maggie Osgood Library update. I did receive an email just from a representative of the Ford Foundation. And the representative said that things looked really positive, that our grant application looked like a good fit, but they were requesting a number of items, additional information. They wanted information on the library budget, on the operations, on long-term funding, and a few other areas. So I put in the report that staff will be working to pull that together, but I actually sent it to them today. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we will hear from them soon. So I'd really love to be able to hear from them before the end of this month. So anyway, keeping fingers crossed. In addition, we also got an additional $1,000 donation So that brought our total for this fiscal year to 12,290. But we also received money last fiscal year. So our total is actually, of donations, is actually $18,390.
That's
So
awesome.
if you remember, the goal originally was 10,000. When we submitted the grant, we were at about, it was about 13 when I submitted the final grant. And now we're at 18, almost 19, well, 18 and a half. So, that's really good news.
My gut tells me they want to do something before the end of the year. Let's see if the gut's right. So that's my hunch. is
I
that,
would
they'd
hope
like to
so.
close it out themselves.
And I felt like I addressed all of their questions today. So, and I added a little more information on the background and how important the library is to the community and a little bit of history. So
Thank you.
keeping my fingers crossed.
Thank you for that.
On the not so good news, sorry, Mr. Mayor, but on the coronavirus update, Lane County is one of the 25 counties that's in extreme risk category. And at the time that I put this packet together, which was last Thursday, on December 10th, we had a total of 5,295 cases in Lane County. But as of today, when I just checked the numbers, we're at 5,750. On the 10th, we had, there were, let's see, there was, I don't think I had hospitalizations. Anyway, today, there are 55 people in Lane County in the hospital, and there are 13 of them are in ICU. And the numbers in our zip code, we were at 14, it had gone up to 14 when I did this report on Thursday, and we're now up to 16. So the numbers are not going in the right direction at this point in terms of COVID. Of course, there is good news on the vaccination front. You know, the vaccine is now being distributed, and in Lane County, they're going by, the federal and state guidelines. There are 3 groups for priority. 1A1, that's the first group to receive the vaccine, and that includes medical, healthcare, and long-term care workers. Group 1B will include essential workers. So that will likely include first responders, food and agricultural workers, teachers, etc. And then, of course, the third group will be people that are over 65 years old. But in all likelihood, it won't be, the general population won't really have the vaccines available until this spring or summer. So, but at least there's light at the end of the tunnel. But then I'm going to switch to some good news again. We did receive information that we received or will be receiving the Safe Routes to School grant that Lane County applied for on our behalf. The Oregon Transportation Commission approved the funding at their December 1st meeting. And this project is the one we've talked about a little bit in the past. It's to construct sidewalk improvements on Main Street and East Shore Drive. The cost of the construction is $466,000, $466,506. And the grant requires a 20% match, but Lane County is putting up that match, so there is no cost to the city of Lowell. And we have to kind of do a kudo and thanks again to Becky Taylor, the senior transportation planner at the county, who was really instrumental in getting this grant for us again. The grant will be approved in 2021. I mean, the funding will be approved and the construction will take place in 2022, which also lines up for the next round of grants, which we might be able to, in that round, actually look at. Max and I are hoping sidewalks on Main Street, which would be a great thing to add to the downtown area.
Yeah, Becky's a great person. She's just as sweet as they come.
Becky is.
I really enjoy talking and dealing with her.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to work with Becky at the city of Eugene. When I was at the county, I encouraged her to come over to the county, which she did. I was known to steal people. But anyway, the next thing, the TGM Land Development Code update. I had in this report that our first meeting was scheduled for the 14th, but we had our first meeting yesterday. The committee members, just to go through them for you, are Johnny Matthews from the school district. We have Lon Drott, who represents the Planning Commission and also Fire. Jimmy Martini from Bridgetown Market, Don Bennett, Mayor, Jason Prenovost, am I saying his name? Prenovost, JK Electric, and Andrew Bardis, who's a junior at Lowell High School, and Bill Klingman, who is kind of an alternative modes representative. So we had our first meeting. They received an overview of the project, and we started going through a code matrix. And that information, as soon as some refinements are made, will be posted on the website. Under the Downtown Master Plan, there's a project page for the TGM code update project. So that is moving forward. We're on schedule. The next meeting of that committee will be in February, but between now and then, there will actually be a community meeting sometime in probably early February. Anyway, so that's it for the city administrator's report. Okay. Although I want to mention that attached was a cost estimate for the Safe Routes to School grant, and also a map just showing where those improvements would be made.
A couple little things. I looked up what the our 97452 zip code, and it, you think of just Lowell, but actually goes over into Fall Creek, goes all the way around the Lookout Point Lake, and then it goes about halfway to Oak Ridge on the south side, and it goes back up in the hills quite a way, and it goes down to almost Dexter. So, we're, you kind of look at that and think that, oh boy, we're in the middle of it. We may have some cases of positives in our city, but it includes quite a bit of surrounding area. The other thing for the public at large, if the public is so listening, is that our new city administrator, Jeremy Cottle, will start on January 4th. And we feel that as a council, I'm going to speak for them, that he is the person that we needed, and we desired, was looking for to carry us forward. Jared got us from where we were, like Bill Trotter was saying, to this point, and our hope and desire is that Jeremy will take us forward into the future and do a great job for us. We're looking forward to have him here. So that's my 2 cents. Next up is the monthly police report. Mrs. Miller, please.
Actually, it's the Public Works report, but.
Oh, is it? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I skipped it. You're right. Public Works.
Okay, I'm going to let Max take that one.
Yeah. All right, Mayor Bennett, Council, yep, my staff report for the last month. Not a whole lot on here. We've just been going through the motions, doing our social distancing stuff. A little bit of excitement happened last week. I'm sure most of you read this. I'm just going to go through it. Streets and parks. The past 2 months, there have been several cases of graffiti in the city parks, not just city parks, pretty much citywide. We did have some pretty significant graffiti on the caboose. We were able to capture some footage of it. Doesn't look like possibly going to be good enough to use, but did inform LCSO and Oak Ridge PD were both notified. Staff, as most people have seen, we put up a Christmas tree, holiday tree, whatever you want to call it, on the covered bridge, and we're wrapping up decorations tomorrow. We've got the wreath to put up and a couple icicles. So the bridge will remain closed, obviously, to the public after the first of the year. So. Water treatment plant. The water treatment plant was broken into last week on Monday, sometime between in the shift on Sunday and Monday morning. The thieves were able to gain access into the building through the garage at the time. Not sure what they were in there for, but they ended up stealing the cameras and the DVR. I'm guessing that, and the sheriff's also guessing that maybe they were in there to steal something and noticed the cameras were there. So they took the cameras. They took every piece of the cameras, as a matter of fact. They took them off the building and everything. So Monday night, staff and myself installed security cameras that we had on hand actually from a donation. So we got those back up, and they returned sometime between the shift Tuesday and started shift Wednesday morning. This time they were unable to gain access to the facility, so instead of getting in, they decided to steal the cameras. So, the first time they got in, the only thing that they stole was a battery-powered drill that was sitting on the table. So, guessing it's the tool they used to take the cameras down too. So, we did put the bars back up on the windows. That's something I took off when I first started there. We put them back up just to make sure fully fortified the entire plant, not just the water plant, also the sewer plant, parks, everything, towers, lift stations. We've done a full security audit. Also, I didn't put it in here, but because it's after I wrote this, Oak Ridge police have been doing night patrols there. I've seen them on the cameras every night since then. So they've been there every night since we talked, which was Thursday of last week. So the presence has definitely been stepped up down there. I guess I kind of skipped over the important part. Wednesday, when we noticed the cameras were stolen, it was the last set of cameras we had. So we actually did purchase some cameras, very nice Lorex cameras. And instead of putting them up on the control building, we put them up on the actual security, on the actual plant. So they're about 20 feet in the air, so a lot harder to get. We had them freshly installed by J&K, so all the wires are hidden, they're tamper-proof, they're sealed. So hopefully that'll be enough of a deterrent. If they do happen to come back, hopefully we capture them. Any questions about that? I know it's a lot to go over, but does anybody have any questions about the break-in?
We have to change all the locks.
No? Okay. As Marsh said, the one other thing that we did do is we've had a lot of changeover in the last couple of years. People have lost keys and just a lot of things. Plus, with having people actually in the building that access to all the keys to the city, pretty much everything. So we did change all locks citywide. So every padlock, every door, every deadbolt in the entire city. So that was done Wednesday and wrapped up Friday. That includes the covered bridge. So any volunteers or council members who participate in helping with the covered bridge will need to go to City Hall and get a new key. So one other thing that I also didn't put on here is when the people got into the building, they actually got access to our deferred comp paperwork that was sitting on my desk to be faxed Monday. So that would be myself and both Hunter and Nick. We literally just filled them out and had them ready to fax Monday morning. When we got to the plant Monday morning, they were spread out on the desk. Just as a safety precaution, I spoke with the CA about this. We went ahead and signed up, myself and both staff members, for 1 year of LifeLock. It's $7 a month, just a little bit of added security in case they did get any information. I explained to staff after speaking with Marcia that, city will cover it for a year, and then if they want to continue it after that, it's on their own. So yeah, not the best staff report, but it was kind of a wake up call, and it was good because we found some weaknesses in both the plants, not just the security gates, but also with some of the doors. So we had everything dealt with, and all, not counting the drill and stuff because it's not that big of a deal. The cameras were about $600 for very high end cameras, and it was $2,800 to rekey the entire city. So, and that's all I have.
Insurance?
What's that?
That was covered under insurance?
I was not covered in insurance. Actually, as a matter of fact, we actually haven't looked into it. And the only reason we did filed a police report both times, both with the county and with Oak Ridge. Nothing was technically, the cameras were $129 brand new. It was a Costco kit. They were donated to city to purchase them. So at the time, we didn't think it was necessary to file a claim. I am going to have Joyce reach out to CIS and see if the rekeying. We did do it on our own, but I think it kind of makes sense once you've been compromised. So we will look into that. But yeah,
You never know.
you never know. That's right.
Do we feel they gained access by using a key?
They did not. They actually, the locksmith showed me how they got in. They went in through the roll-up garage. It's an older style roll-up garage with the twist handle that you lock. They were able to manipulate it with a screwdriver or something. Those are horrible locks. So actually, when he was out here, instead of rekeying that, since we don't use that access point, we go through the man door. We did have the bar that goes through the sliders, and we put a padlock on both ends of it. And then we added some other bars on it. So the chance of them getting, I'm not saying they're not going, if they want to get in there bad enough, they're going to get in there. We did move the cameras, like I said, to the other building, and the DVRs inside there. It's a much harder building to get into. And then next week, Monday, we'll be pushing all the footage to the cloud. So even if they were to gain access and they were able to take the DVR or destroy it beyond any kind of recoverable evidence, we will have something. And when I tell you guys these are nice cameras, they're very nice cameras. They're 4K, so it's, I mean, you can, the detail is just phenomenal. So if something was to happen again, and not just a break-in, but any kind of issues, we should have some pretty good footage of it. So.
Is there any way of posting or anything like that, like for the graffiti down here, the pictures of the people? Is that, I don't know if the police want us to do that, not want to do it, if we get any liability for putting their pictures out there? Or
We actually can't do that.
we can't do it, okay.
Yeah, when we put the cameras up a couple, 3 years ago, we had to adopt a security program. Remember the protocol we adopted?
Right.
So we can't just look at the footage randomly. You know, there has to be a reason to look at it. And then when there is any kind of investigation of any kind, it's just turned over to the sheriff's department.
Okay.
So if this information, I had the sheriff look at when I was here.
Correct.
People who know the people clearly know who it is, and we've had them ID, but the problem is it's not undisputable evidence. Plus, like the sheriff said, there was no property damage technically. I mean, they did graffiti it, but for the most part, Bob was able to get it off. You know, they didn't. I mean, it was damaged, but not because, you know, they didn't burn the place down or break the window out or something like that. Nobody got hurt, so there was a crime committed, but not a major crime. And in order for them to spend the time and the effort into investigating that. The other thing I didn't say about the cameras is there was fingerprints when those people broke in, but the process for fingerprinting takes almost a year. And then everybody who's been in that room, so all of our contractors, previous staff, including Jared, you know, Marsha, everybody would have to go get delineated out of the equation. Since nothing, we still did a police report, but since nothing was physically stolen, you know, besides the cameras and that drill, we decided not to pursue that at the time.
Okay.
So that's just the option we went, you know, and of course the case is still open, you know, we can always change our mind down the road, but yeah.
I think
But yeah, we brought it up because, you know, that happened on Veterans Day. So I actually had the footage, just hadn't reviewed it. So when the sheriff was there, he just said it just needed to be a little bit more clean. And it was middle of the night, you know, so it was night vision, so it's hard to tell. But yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Seemed like we had bad things happen, but it seemed like we have responded appropriately. Good for you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else for Public Works? Okay, now police report.
Yeah, are there any questions on the police report?
I have one.
Mhm.
The one about the helmet, is that one of those ATVs that was associated with that? Okay,
You got that. You know.
Side by side.
side by side, so
It was
we warned them.
juvenile, that's about all I can tell you.
Okay.
But, he was actually running down the main drag here, like going towards the old covered bridge.
Yeah.
I stopped him.
Okay. Good. But I know that the kids have fun on it, but boy, I tell you what, one of them gets hurt, you know, everybody feels terrible. So, yeah, make them aware. Thank you. Any other questions on the police report? Okay, we'll move on to new business. First thing up is ordinance 302, and that's on page 176. Mrs. Miller, would you like to speak to this?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor Bennett and council. The council discussed the planning commission requirements on October 20th and on November 3rd at your council work session. You had the first reading on November 17th, and you had a second reading on the 24th. However, on the 24th, we missed a second on the motion to approve the ordinance. So this is simply back in front of you this time, so we can get a motion for approval of this ordinance. So anyway, it was missed. We didn't catch it until until Joyce was reviewing the minutes. And she said, we didn't have a second. We tried to use you, Tim, because you were talking to someone at your house, and we said, can we use Tim? We think he went like this, but you were having a conversation with someone in your house. So just to make sure that we're doing this exactly right, this is back before you for a motion to approve it. And then we will move this forward, and it will go into effect 30 days after today.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 302.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a second. Yeah, if you remember the last time we met, you all congratulated me on leaving early, so that was the second, I guess, that we left early. Anyway, I appreciate it. I'm sorry that I caused this. That's one of those where I'm talking, I'm not thinking. Anyway, we have any discussion further on ordinance 302 for changing planning and commission membership? Okay, not hearing, seeing any. All those in favor of motion to approve resolution 302 to change planning commission membership signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Okay, thank you. We took care of that one.
That was the fastest council meeting we've ever had, too.
100%.
I think it was 12 to 13
Yeah,
minutes.
and there's a reason. Yeah. Okay, next up is the change order for downtown paving utility improvements project and approval of contract for railing installation on Lakeview, and that's on page 179.
Can I interrupt? Did we approve the 1920 financial report?
Oh,
Am I seeing something wrong?
20.
Yeah, I thought that was weird, but that's what's here.
Well, that's
Okay.
because he changed the agenda.
But I don't think we approved anything.
No, we didn't. No, you're right. Thank you.
It was just in the, I have it on my iPad because that's why I'm looking at it, but
Oh,
I just want to make sure.
Gold star.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Oh, thank you. Okay, we had the presentation by Bill Trotter. Mrs. Miller, would you like to speak to this anymore?
Just that we need a motion to accept the 2019-20 financial report.
Well, I'm going to make a motion to accept the fiscal year 2019 to 2020 financial report.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? I just say fantastic on the whole city's part. Thank you for everybody involved. Especially, we did this with an interim in here. You really think about that. We've had so many good things happening in the last months that we just keep clicking them up. So I'm so proud of us, the city. All those in favor of motion to, okay, we have a motion and a second, I heard it. All those in favor of motion to accept the fiscal year 2019-2020 financial report signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Good. Opposed? Okay, not hearing any. Okay. Now we're on to change order number 7. And thank you again, Sam.
Yes, thank you. That's what happens when you take something out of order.
Yes.
Well, we were so excited about it, we forgot to approve it.
Oh, once you said it, I remember reading over and going, oh yeah, that's right. Oh, so, okay, Mrs. Miller on the change order.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and Mayor Bennett and Council. The city received a change order from Wildish as part of the closeout of the Main Street and Lakeview Improvement Project. The installation of the railing at Lakeview and Pioneer has been removed from the project in order to allow us to close out the contract and the project. There's a slight delay in getting that railing fabricated and installed. The city is also interested in entering into a separate contract with Wildish to complete the installation of the railing. So this change order, there's two parts here. The first is the change order number 7, which is attached, is for a decrease in $3,860 in the project. So that's the first action. And then the second would be the contract with Wildish for the installation, which is $3,360 for the installation. Are there any questions about this before you move to, and you'll need 2 motions. You'll need one to approve the change order and the second one to approve the contract.
I make a motion to approve the change order number 7 from Wildish Construction. And I make a motion to approve a contract with Wildish Construction for the installation of a railing at Lakeview and Pioneer Street for the cost of $3,360.
And I
Okay.
will second both motions.
Okay. Understanding that. So we have a motion to approve change order number 7 from Wildish Construction and a motion to approve a contract with Wildish Construction for installation of a railing at Lakeview and Pioneer at a cost of $3,360. For discussion. Ms. Miller, you have something?
No, I just wondered if Matt's.
Okay. I noticed there's $500 difference. I saw in there where we got a credit for $500 for,
It was a water blow-off box credit.
okay, yeah.
So that's the difference between the 2 numbers.
So I'll take it that's something you did.
Yeah, can I talk about the handrail just real quick since
Sure.
we're in discussion? Tim, specifically talking to you just because this was, you were pretty adamant about this project. So the reason for the delay on the handrail, Wildish was working with the school to try to make it identical to match with the rest of the school with their new handrails because they built all those in-house and their new fencing. So I agree it should match the rest of the building. The reason for closing it is our contract actually ended on December 1st with Wildish. Their work was completed. They had the hit list. So this is just a way to wrap everything up, to get final payment. And then they are still going to do the handrail, obviously, like we talked about, that they are going to work with the school directly. So with the guy fabricating it, and then Wildish will still install it, according to the specs and everything that we put in the agreement originally, the safety handrail and everything. So it's not a project that's being removed and not being done. It's just taking out the project to close it. The same exact handrail is going to get put up, which we discussed in the very early stages before we even did the street job. It's just taken a little bit longer. The fabricator at the school, actually, when they approached him, he was in the middle of a project. So when I talked to them a week and a half ago, they were saying roughly about 3 weeks out. So it's looking like probably pretty close to the end of the year. I would guess fabrication would be complete and then probably installed after the first of the year. This handrail is pretty important. Handrail / barricade. This is actually where we're going to also install the do not enter signs for the one-way. We did get the one-way signs up facing to the east, but we have the red, everybody's seen it, the wrong way, do not enter. And it's the most appropriate place to put it. When you're coming up into town from north, you see it by the handrail, and then same with the south. So it's still a very important part. It just, it makes it easier for us to close it out and just move on with the project. So.
Yeah, it makes perfectly good sense to me.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I saw all your barricades around it, and that's quite a drop off. So
Yeah,
I'm glad to see that. I hadn't noticed it before, but we went from being level here to level there. So
yeah, and we created that, purposely, one for the handrail, but also for the separation from the street to that parking lot. So yeah.
any other discussion, questions, thoughts?
Hey, it might be a good idea to suggest to the school, or I don't know, or we could do it, but some reflective tape on the outside of that just to keep to protect that expensive hand railing from, real easy for somebody to cut that corner. Even if it is a one-way street, you might still see somebody whack that and it'd be a shame to just, so just give it more visibility.
I agree. It is specifically on the south side. I definitely agree. Yep. So, but yeah, I'll bring that up, Tim.
They put reflectors on it and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, since we have 2 motions, let's do them separately. First motion to All those in favor of motion to approve change order number 7 for Wildest Communications signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Okay, passed. Second motion, a motion to approve a contract with Wildest Construction for the installation of a railing at Lakeview and Pioneer Street for the cost of $33.60. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? You guys were harmonious there. Okay. Next up is the fourth item, Planning Commission Advisory Committee appointments on page on screen 190. Ms. Miller, would you like to cover this?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Bennett and council. As the council's aware, you have several vacancies on the Planning Commission and also other advisory committees. In addition, there are several committee members whose terms are expiring the end of this year. I've attached a copy of the vacancies on the committees, so you can see which ones are actually expiring and which ones are vacant. We've advertised in the bridge and have reached out to the committee members individually whose terms have expired. Several of them came in this last week and reapplied, so that was good news. So attached are the applications for the council's consideration tonight. You can go through the applications if you choose individually. I don't know how you'd like to approach this, Mr. Mayor. And then we have separate motions for each of the appointments, or in some cases where we have two people, a motion for two positions on a committee. There were also two members who didn't get their applications in time for this packet. And those were Robert Krem on the Library Committee and Tony Moretti on the Parks and Rec Committee. I don't know if I said that right.
Yeah.
But they will be, their applications just came in this week. So we will actually put those on your agenda for your January meeting. So those applications can get approved also. So basically everyone who was due to expire has reapplied.
Fantastic. Yeah, we still need people.
We still need people.
I think the easiest way is to go down through here and look at each
Application?
motion one at a
Oh.
time, and we'll take a separate vote on each one. So, and looking at number 1, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the appointments of Mary Wallace for position 4 and Suzanne Kinsley for position 5 to the Planning Commission.
Have a second?
I will,
Motion.
Okay, we have John has a second on that. Okay. Okay. We have any discussion or questions for this? All those in favor of motion to approve appointments of Mary Wallace for position 4 and Suzanne Kinsley for position 5 to the Planning Commission signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, let's look at number 2. I
Excuse
make a
me.
motion. Okay, go ahead.
Regarding number 2, should I recuse myself?
Is there a financial problem?
It's her husband.
That's the main thing that's involved with that, so I don't see a
I don't
reason
think there's
why.
a.
I just want to double check.
We'll make the motion.
Yeah, well, if it's,
why, do you know him, Sam?
I think that the fact that you brought it up on the video, that would be adequate. Myself and the city administrator both felt that you're in a perfectly good position to approve or disapprove this. Okay, I make a motion to approve the appointment of Lon Drott to the Blackberry Jam Committee. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, John seconds it. Okay, further discussion or questions? All those in favor of a motion to appoint Lon Drott to the Blackberry Jam Committee signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you, Lon, on that. Okay. And opposed? Okay, no one. Okay. Number 3, someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of George Wild to the Blackberry Jam Committee and the Parks and Recreation Committee.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion or questions, comments? All those in favor of a motion to approve the appointment of George Wild to the Blackberry Jam Committee and Parks and Recreation Committee signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good to hear. Okay, final one. Oh, screen went black. Okay, someone?
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of Bill George to the Budget Committee and to the Economic Development Committee.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Those are going to be popular committees, hopefully next year. I'll love more, especially Blackberry Jam. We can get everything straightened out between now and then. It'd be fantastic.
Do it
Okay,
again.
what's that? Go ahead.
Sorry. I just said if we get to do it.
Yeah, well, I'm staying hopeful. I've still got my shovel on standby and I'm ready to go. So.
Good.
Oh,
Okay, so we have a motion and a second for Bill George, I believe, on the Budget and Economic Development Committee. Okay, all those in favor of motion to approve the appointment of Bill George to the Budget and the Economic Development Committee signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good to hear. Okay, we're saving the best for last, looks like. Okay, next up is holiday gift cards and holiday times, I suppose you could say. Mrs. Miller, please.
yes, thank you, Mayor Bennett and council. It's my understanding that in previous years, the council has approved the purchase of a $50 gift card in December for city employees in appreciation for the past year of service. And in addition, the council has authorized a half a day off before the holidays of Christmas and New Year's. So that day would be Wednesday for those employees who work 4/10s and Thursday for those who are on 8-hour days. The fiscal impact is $250 from the general fund administration budget. Any questions or comments?
Did we modify that amount?
Did you modify which amount?
The $50?
Yeah.
Did you, this is what it was last year.
So, yeah, because I want to speak on that if I
Okay.
can, when it's appropriate.
Okay.
Did- Tim, did you want to modify it, or are you asking if that was modified?
Oh, I would like to modify it.
Okay, what's the modification?
I would propose that considering the financial report we just got and all the stuff that's been going on this year, that I think upping the amount to $100 gift cards per individual for the city staff would be appropriate. Assisting with the switching from Jared to Marcia, working with the new person, the progress that the city staff has made, especially in terms of the 2 new hires for their educational progression. I think that considering everything that's happened, I just think it'd be a good year to, offer a little extra love for the city staff this year.
I would agree.
We have any
Agree.
other comments about that, pro or con?
I think we all agree already, Don. I think that's what
I just give it an option. Mr. Baker?
you want to say.
Exactly what I was going to bring up, Tim, so I appreciate you bringing that up. I would even forfeit my portion just to give to the other guys. As everybody knows, and everybody that works knows, COVID has really been a very unique situation for everybody. In the early stages for us, it consisted of complete isolation for 3 months and still operate in both the plants. So it was very smooth, especially with, technically, I mean, I still call them new hires too. They've been here almost 2 years, coming up, but kind of took the plants and ran with them. So, but the other thing that I wanted to bring up is it's very clear that it's been city staff in the past, and I know that it has been that, and that's what it says in the thing. But I agree with you, Tim. I believe Marcia should get something. I think Marcia has been phenomenal. You guys have no idea how much stress I had when I heard Jared was leaving, and there was not even a skip in the beat. Marcia's awesome. It's going to be very hard to see her go. I'm sure I'm going to get emotional. I am an emotional person, but Marcia has. Yeah. And the other thing is I would like to include Laylee in that. And Laylee has been a very big part of obviously the audit, but not only the audit, she has really stepped it up with filling in for just the whole year. You know, like if Joyce is out of the office, she's always stepped up and answered the phone. She brings her mask every day, you know, just like the rest of us. So that's exactly what I was going to bring up, Tim. I think, and we have the money for it. You know, we get money each year from CIS for 0 injuries. That's what I was going to bring up. We have not spent that money. I'll let you guys know that I know for a fact that for the last 3 years, we have always planned a city event, you know, like a barbecue or something. It's just never happened. The intent was always there. Jared, this year we thought about doing a fishing trip, you know, from here down with staff, and we could do 2 trips, you know, so we still have coverage. Obviously that's not going to happen, not just because of time of year, but with COVID. So Tim, I appreciate you bringing that up. So that was very nice of you.
So does that make it 7? 7
So
people?
that would be Bob, Nick, Hunter, myself, Joyce, Laylee, and Marcia. Yep, 7, that's correct.
I think we would have to modify it in terms of the motion to say, you know, something along the lines of I make a motion to approve adding an additional $50 to the gift cards for the 5 regular city staff members, in addition of Laylee and Marcia to the Christmas bonus. Well, that's suffice, Mr. Mayor.
How about if we make a motion to approve the purchase of a $100 gift card for all staff members for the city of Lowell, and offer a half-day prior to each New Year's and Christmas holiday. Would that work? Would that include you? You're part of staff, right?
Well,
Okay, if you're not, give me a word that you
yeah,
are.
well, I don't really feel like I'm part of staff. But that-
Yes, and she
You
also
are.
involved.
Come on, I thought.
Oh my God. You're our angel, Marcia. You kidding?
Right.
Okay, staff and angels.
No, it made sense for Laylee. I told. No, you could do that. Thank
Okay.
you, that's very
Okay,
kind.
we want to make sure that whatever wording we use includes you. Okay,
That's very
okay,
kind.
okay. So,
So can I ask one more question before we
Mhm.
go any further?
go ahead.
Would it be the end of the world, or what if we gave them those 2 days off instead of half days?
Absolutely. I get them off. That's what I was going to say. Why would you only give them a half a day?
Well, it's just a thought. I mean, I know maybe it seems like a lot, but I don't know, you guys. I think our folks, you know.
I think full days are what it should be anyway, regardless of COVID and not being able to travel and all that good stuff.
And New Year's Eve off.
Yes.
Max, so I'd like to ask Max about working the plants. Will that work with the functioning of the operation of the plants, or would you need to shift those days so that some employees had different days off than others to still allow effective operations of the Lowell City Waterworks, both fresh and sewer?
Right.
So we would just treat it like the Thanksgiving holiday. You know, we get Thursday, Fridays for Thanksgiving. So we treat it like the Thanksgiving holiday. And people always volunteer to work the holidays. So we do a holiday shift. So we'll have full coverage, and then we'll have somebody in district 24/7. Yep. So it's not going to change anything. So yeah, somebody's, you know, on holidays, we still have somebody there 3 to 4 hours. And usually it's volunteer because, you know, for us, holidays is time and a half. Our actual paid holidays, this wouldn't be because it's not in our manual. It'd still be regular pay. you guys would just be paying us to have a day off. But when you work a holiday, you know, you get some kind of incentive for it. So the actual Christmas day would be a 3-hour shift.
Okay,
I
that in
was gonna
mind,
clarify. We can,
go ahead.
Go
Please.
ahead, Go ahead, Gail.
we can pay them on those days, right? Yeah, I don't want to make them take a day without pay. That's not the goal.
Yeah.
I think
In
you
that-
might need to restate your motion.
In that case, I'd like to amend my motion to approve the purchase of a $100 gift card for the 7 staff members of the city of Lowell, and provide a 1 day off prior to the Christmas and New Year's Eve holiday. Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve holiday.
I'll second that.
I'll third it.
She's still writing is the reason for that. So, since I changed it, she's getting the correct writing or wording.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay. You good?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, we have a second and a third. All those in favor of the purchase of a $100 gift card for the 7 staff employees and authorize a full day off prior to the Christmas and New Year's Day, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you,
everybody.
Tim, for bringing that up. I
Yes,
think we
thank
all
you,
thought
Tim.
it, and I'm glad you mentioned it. So,
You guys earned it, Max. The whole staff has.
Yes.
We have a very good team right now. Lowell is sitting very strong. So
I would agree.
very, very
Oh,
strong.
it's excellent. I tell you what, to take over this place right now, someone
Somebody
is
is
being
that.
given a gift.
That's right.
Okay. Any other business before we close this out? Go
Marcia,
ahead.
are you going to be around a little bit? I mean, what's going to happen when the fourth girl's
Well,
around?
Yeah, well, I have talked to Jeremy a couple of times, and he has asked if I can kind of be here for a few days after he gets here at least. And so I'm going to kind of play it by ear. I mean, I can make myself as available as he needs me to be, but I also don't want to be, hovering.
They here,
Well,
Pardon?
they get here in Oregon yet?
No, he's coming the week of Christmas. They're moving the week of Christmas. And then he will be here on the 4th. And of course, you have a council meeting on the 5th.
His second day.
And then you also have, there's a planning commission meeting on the 6th. So he will go from one day, and I will kind of play it by ear about that too. I can be there with him or, Zoom in or whatever, because I will be putting both of those packets together for those meetings, because that will be ahead of when he actually arrives. So like I said, I can make myself available as much or as little as he needs me to be in January.
I think he'll appreciate it. I think that I'm glad that you're going to be available for that. And like you say, he gets in on the 4th, and I know that Marcia has already put together folders with everything that's going on, and they can sit down and they can go through each one of the folders. This is where we are. This is what you need to do, and this is what's been done. So that that makes it really easy on him. But the thing is to come into we're going to have a special session and a work session on Tuesday night, and he'll be in a position to prepare for it, but he won't be in a position necessary to lead it. So it'll be a combination, myself, him, and Marcia kind of working their way through, but it's not anything going to be too heavy duty. And then like the planning, Lon will be there for that, and they'll be doing what they do there. He's done planning before. He's a planning guru, I think. And so I think those few days he should start feeling pretty confident, but Marcia has offered to let him reach out to her when he needs, and what's going on with this and that, and that's great to hear. That's wonderful. I'm so thankful for that. And like I say, we had a seamless transition from Jared to Marcia, and now it appears to be seamless from Marcia to Jeremy. So we're very pleased with that. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. And
Can I ask one
Sure.
COVID question?
Sure.
Mhm.
Is he going to have enough self-isolation time? But when he gets here to January 4th, isn't our state like 14 days if you're coming in from another state?
Just there's certain states I understand, but I don't think Colorado is one of them.
I think it's
No,
a
I think it's from any state into Oregon.
So
It's
what
a
exactly?
suggestion at this point.
He'll have just about exactly, depending on what date he actually gets here, he'll have about 2 weeks.
Yeah, 14 days.
But it's actually a suggestion at this point. There's no, and we
Yeah.
have that.
So
It's
is
all-
wearing a face mask, but you could do that. I mean, a suggestion means do it.
I'm just saying, yeah.
I'm dealing with him on the side. He's very, him and his partner are very aware of the importance of masks and things like that. So it sounds like he's coming in 2 weeks early, so he'll have time to move in, go set up and everything. Hopefully, and he doesn't catch something here then. So yeah. But no, I didn't know what day he was going to arrive, but it's good to hear that he's coming in a couple weeks early just for
Mhm.
to help cover that. So I feel good about that. That way he can hit the ground rolling. Okay. Any other questions? Good question, John. Anything from the public?
I just want to say a couple things.
We have Hall Reagan wishing to speak.
That's my name. O'Regan, 62 East Third. The graffiti going on in the parks and lack of, we can't quite identify some people because of the camera situation and the lack of input from the sheriff's department, because they're not willing to enhance videos and things. And the recent one with the water plant, it seems to me that, especially on the thefts, these are not just your everyday Yahoo people. Apparently they scoped it out quite a bit before they hit the place. So they know what they're doing. And I don't think this is going to be the end of it. So if we can somehow enhance the security systems, which Max seems to have already done, or enhance the camera systems, I think it might be worth the extra money so that we can nail these people. Because if we don't, it's just going to continue. And, you know, it's sad that it's happening, but it is. It is what it is. So that's what I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hall.
Good input.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything? Okay. Mayor comments. I think we all have to be thankful that nobody on the council has COVID or anywhere close, or the committee members. We have to be thankful for Marcia. We got to be thankful that we selected and found Jeremy Cottle for the great staff. And with that, I'd say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's to everybody, and a better New Year to at that. So thank you. Okay.
I think we should also be thankful for the environment within the city. I mean, it's really nice to work with this group of people that we're working with on the city council, and Patty Jo Angelini included in that statement. It seems like our city's in a better place for making progress. People are able to have discussions, not disagreements. We're able to meet in the middle if there is a disagreement. And I feel, you know, nationwide and historically within the city of Lowell, but nationwide at the moment, there's a lot of divisiveness. And I think that it's really good that we can function. And, you know, we're seeing the progress in these audits that we're discussing tonight. We see the progress in the numbers. We see the progress on the streets of Lowell and the community. And I think we should all be thankful of the environment we're living in. It's a good time to be involved.
Here, here.
Yep.
Anybody else? If not, we'll adjourn for 2020 and see everybody in 2021. Have a good evening.
Thanks, everybody.
Well,
New year.
see y'all. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Yeah.